There's people who are religious, and there's those who seek after God, not for His presence, but for His presence. Are you guys with me? There's religious people who seek after God, not for His presence, but for His presence. What can God give me? And there's other people who seek after God as they want Him to be. We've created an image of God in our own mind, not the one the Bible explains. Some of you might be wondering, but aren't there, the Bible is saying that nobody seeks God. Nobody naturally desires to follow God. And we might say, but aren't there a lot of seeker-sensitive Christians? Isn't there a lot of people seeking after God? Yes, but people very often are seeking to get the things that God gives. Love, help, strength, forgiveness, happiness, but it's not actually seeking God. In fact, many people who seek God are often like gold diggers who befriend or marry only for money. And this actually is a very accurate view, because you know people in your own life who came to God, their life did not go as planned, and they left the church and they left God, and they're like, I don't want to have anything to do with organized religion because God failed me. People seek God for what He gives, not who He is. The second thing that I believe a lot of people look for is God's presence, but not the way in which the Bible reveals Himself to be, the way God reveals Himself in the Bible. If there was a speaker at a university who shared this story, and he said that he asked a random group of people in the audience, he said to them, how many of you believe in some kind of God? Most people will raise their hand. Irreligious people, even atheists will raise their hand, because even they are not quite sure whether there is a God or not. Most people will raise their hand. But if you ask people this particular question, not how many of you believe in some sort of form of God, but if you say, how many of you believe in the God of the Bible, the God who comes down on Mount Sinai in fire and smoke, the God who says, I will in no way clear the guilty, who tells human beings that if anyone approaches His glory, he or she will die instantly. How many of you believe in that God? Almost nobody's going to raise their hand. And this is the hidden idea about Christmas, that Herod's natural lust for power, we have a natural resistance to authority. This is why Paul says that all human beings are naturally God's enemies. And here's the difference between people who are very religious and people who are not religious at all. Religious people try to get God's attention by doing good things. We say, God, I read the Bible, I go to church, I tithe regularly. Why in the world do bad things happen to me? So we try to get God in our debt. God, you must do good for me because I do good things for you. This is what religious people do. Irreligious people try to get God's attention by doing a bunch of bad things. Both need Jesus.